You're taking Ozempic and your doctor was recommending that you lose weight for medical reasons and this is helping you, then I think that's amazing. It sounds like it's really a miracle drug and it's helping a lot of people. I wish my older brother would have been able to have that available to him. He went through gastric bypass. I don't think it was many years after that he passed away. Maybe the way he lost weight was so quick that his body couldn't handle it, and he already had done damage to his body because of his obesity. So my point is, if that would have been available to him years and years and years ago, that it probably could have saved his internal organs, that he would have lived longer. My father too died from diabetes. He runs in my family. I'm close to diabetic levels, and I've given up the sugar and the white flour for decades. But yet, for whatever reason, the way my body works and the way with the insulin resistance and I am borderline pre-diabetic. Look at that. And had I continued to have eaten the way I used to, like my brother did, I would be in a lot of trouble right now. I'm in a little bit of trouble now. There's a lot I can't eat. With all the abstaining that I've done from like high sugars and high carbs, I still cannot indulge, like even in moderation. It really does a number on me. I'm saying all this because the topic is for Ozempic, right? And weight loss is the result from Ozempic and what the weight loss could do in a relationship, right? I heard recently a story about a relationship changed dramatically to one of the partners going on Ozempic. And the change wasn't for the better of the relationship. It actually caused problems. And it reminded me of a relationship I had, my attempt for a second long-term relationship with a queer man, myself being into healthy eating, no alcohol, no sugar, no high carbs, nothing like that. And this particular person, so different than my first long-term, who was a healthy young man, 17 years younger. This person was probably about the same age difference, 17 years. I like chunky guys. He was overweight. When I met him, I was okay with that. But he admired like my discipline with food and everything. And so he wanted to learn how to eat healthy. And I gave him some tips and I held his hand through it. He wanted to take some English second language classes, and the Gay and Lesbian Center had classes, and he was so nervous to walk into the classroom, and I held his hand and dropped him off, and he learned English really nicely. And I took him to the gym. I taught him how to work out. He wanted to learn how to work out. He started losing weight, and he started getting a little buffed. And that relationship changed because of his weight loss. What was a very sweet guy and his overweightness, this little Pillsbury Doughboy, a Mexican version, brown, it was sweet and cuddly and affectionate and giving, right? He lost weight, started going to the gym, started getting muscles, and got real shady. And this was now the first time that he was walking around in a muscular, thinner body, newly gay on the gay scene, now getting the attention of men at the gym and everywhere else he was going. I walked him through that, right? I helped him because he asked for the help. Wasn't trying to change him. And he got so ugly inside. One day we were at the gym together. He got so shady with me. I was like, my mouth and my jaw dropped. I was like, no, this is not going to throw shade. She's biting the hand that fed her. Yeah. I broke up with her. Quick. I broke up with him. Quick. I said her purposely. I broke up with that right away, honey. Because if she could throw shade that easy, right? Fine. His weight loss was short-lived. And every time I saw him and anytime my ex who met him saw him, he's like, you know what, Soraya, he's even bigger than before. The point of this little story is that in the story I heard about this couple with Ozempic, they were a cisgender couple, male, female, and one of them was the one that went on Ozempic. And that person started noticing that once they lost the weight, their employer was giving them more responsibilities to be a spokesperson, a go-to for the company. And then so this person now was traveling more, given more responsibilities because of their appearance. They looked better now, right? And I'm sure the self-esteem of that person increased. They felt better about themselves. Their outlook was more positive, was better. And then their appearance improved as well. So the packaging for marketing, right? Who doesn't want an employee that feels really good about themselves? They're the best employees, right? So more responsibility was given. This person was handling responsibilities, and that was feeding their self-esteem, right? The success at the job, making more money. They were able to address their eating disorder. They were feeling better, looking better. And sex didn't matter as much for them in the relationship. In fact, sex stopped, which I thought was like, why? Why did the sex stop? And for whatever reasons, I can understand when I had my weight loss, when I kept getting to a certain number and I felt more vulnerable because men and women were noticing me more. It scared me, and I would always go back up in numbers until one term I decided that I was going to deal with the feelings of being more visible in the world and not try to hide in my overeating, right? And not put a lid on it. Let the genie out the bottle. Like, let's be the star who I am, succeeding, doing well with my weight loss. And success is the best revenge. I mean, not that that person was looking to revenge from their partner, but a new level of self-esteem came in a way that maybe the sex wasn't necessary for them anymore. I don't know the reason for that, but I think that's kind of mean to punish. And then not that they were even punishing the partner. I take that back because I don't know why. I would probably, like I am right now, my libido is so much broader and stronger since the removal of the implants. For whatever reason that is, that's my reason. Maybe I feel better in the smaller breasts. Maybe the bigger breasts made me feel more grandma, though I was very sexy grandma and still a grandma because of my age. And I don't have kids. I just feel like a little bit more vibrant and younger. I don't feel burdened by the heavy breasts. Just look at the whole picture. Two people may get attracted to each other for reasons that have underlying, that could be codependent in nature. Like, oh, he really likes me, even though I'm a little heavy and he's such a good looking guy. My partner was probably saying that he's good looking. He has his own place. He has a co-op. Oh my God. I got to say it the way it is. He probably thought like, oh, I'm Mexican, don't even know how to speak English. I'm living in a rented room with my brother. And here's this Puerto Rican mature daddy with a co-op that he owns. And I can visit him whenever I want. And it's almost like my place, you know? Like, oh, I struck it, you know? let me marry him so he can leave the apartment in my name, you know, that kind of thing. I always pick partners that had a lot less than me, and I really need to stop that. Especially now, you know, as a trans woman, you know, they should be really taking care of me, honey. I seem to get off on taking care of people. And that's going to stop. So when two people get together, they get together for whatever reasons. Maybe I picked him being overweight, little Pillsbury Mexican doughboy, because he would be less desirable to others. Because my other partner was very desirable to others, you know? Maybe I have these faulty belief systems that say a little chunkier guy, you know, my gordito, que nobody wants him because he's overweight and he's going to be all mine. He's not going to cheat on me. He's not going to be an alcoholic. He's not going to be a sex addict. That's all bullshit. But, you know, my guy was not an alcoholic, el gordito, Mexican, and was not a sex addict either. He was a compulsive overeater just like me. But I knew how to do it healthy, and he, you know, he liked a lot of sweets and carbs and fats. And I think he wanted me to be funky and chunky with him, but I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let him fatten me up. So he tried. He tried. It was fun. And our sex wasn't as vibrant as it was with the real attractive guy that I was with, my first long-term partner. So, yeah, the reasons why we hook up with people with this weight thing. I like my guys little chunky. I like them very chunky. I like them, you know, good 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, maybe even more, depending on where that weight is distributed. And once they lose the weight, if I had a dude like the way I really liked them with the thick thighs, thick butt, kind of football player, a little bit on the heavy side, just a little. And he decides to go on Ozempic and lose weight, and that butt goes away and those thick thighs go away, and he's got loose skin now, and he doesn't have a belly, and there's a lot of loose skin on that belly. Like, look, you got to fill up that body because you got too much loose skin. I miss the big booty, the big thighs, and that little Buddha belly that I used to rub. What happened, baby? This is not what I signed up for. That could be reasons enough to end the relationship. You know, I like my guys, my chunky boys. So Ozempic is good. But yeah, so if anybody there is on Ozempic, or if you've been in a relationship and you went on Ozempic and the relationship changed, or you're in a relationship and your partner went on Ozempic and that relationship changed, leave your little story there in the comments. I'd like to know, because it's very, very, very common now for people to use Ozempic. It's very, very, very effective. I'm glad it's available, but I'm very, very, very glad that I learned how to discipline myself with the eating and the drinking. And final thoughts. The story that I heard was that the person who was on Ozempic, who lost the weight, has kept it off, and they were like, "I'll never go back to being overweight," which I hope they never do. But they say too that the Ozempic also affects the craving for alcohol, and that this person gave up alcohol too. So in the relationship, this person and their partner, were eating together, testing a lot of different wines and new drinks and craft beers together, very social, inviting friends over and, snacking and eating, watching movies and playing board games, eating and drinking, right? The Ozempic came, and that whole social life with all those friends and activities slowly began to ease up, where it was no longer happening. So this whole social gathering that they had in social life around entertaining and indulging in food and drink, when that partner was more dedicated to the Ozempic usage and weight loss lifestyle, that changed dramatically in the dynamics of the relationship. And that was something really important that they both shared together. So how much did that partner enjoy it if that partner was happier and willing to sacrifice all of that fun and excitement of drinking and eating by having a healthier lifestyle, which included a weight loss, right? And less stress to the body because they're not carrying the extra weight. So we'll see how well this video is going to do on YouTube, because YouTube has this weird algorithm about weight loss. And I don't even think I could say the D word, DIETS. It's like so weird. You can't even talk about that. Come on now. But whatever's going to happen with this video is going to happen. It's beyond my control. But this is the story that I wanted to tell, because it's real. It's very real. It's like somebody gets sober from alcohol and they were both drinking. I know my partner has kept a distance from me, the one that I had that drank and loved to drink and get high. I know he preferred his other friends to hang out with them at times than me, because I wasn't drinking and getting high. So it is the reality. It is what it is. So I'm going to end by saying the men that I pick nowadays do not get high, do not drink. And actually, I am really reconsidering what I want in a future partner that has to be in place. So, I'm going back to maybe the standards I had before. I'm not going to get into that now, what they should have. They should have this, they should have that, they should be blah, 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 blah. I don't know, that got watered down a bit. I don't know why. Not a bad thing, but it's just every so often you have to take inventory again. What changes could I make now so the partners that I meet in the future have more growth potential for me and for them, us together, right? Moving forward, maybe in a monogamous relationship. So I would end it there. I hope y'all are taking really good care of yourselves. And if you require Ozempic, that you go get the Ozempic. Think about it really clearly. Have a good conversation with your partners or partner and family. Consider all the changes that may come about. If you're ready, really ready to handle yourself being more visible in the world through weight loss and an improved nutrition, good luck with that if that's what you decide to do. Trans Mama loves you no matter what. All right, no matter how. I still love you, baby. Trans Mama always loves you. Be well, be safe, and have a wonderful day. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.